I was born in 1961 on Castle Air Force Base in Atwater, California. My parents were Cuban immigrants. They were both born and raised in Cuba. My dad was half American. His father was a very young uh, sailor in the Navy who met my grandmother, who was a native of Cuba, when he was stationed in Guantanamo Bay. He fell in love with her and married her, and they had two children. My dad was the eldest. And so my dad grew up speaking Spanish and English fluently. And as he grew older, he worked on the base in Guantanamo Bay. And that was ultimately what enabled him to be able to escape communism when Fidel Castro started to take over. Before he left Cuba, he met my mother, who was also native to Cuba. She was born and raised there on the other side of the island. And my mother said she fell in love with my father's blue eyes and blonde hair because she was dark skinned and dark eyes. And so they married, and then he came to the United States. He joined the U.S. Air Force. He had a dual citizenship because of his father and the time he spent working on the base. And then he sent for her, and by the grace of God and a lot of effort on their part, a lot of hard work and commitment to family, they were able to bring all of their families to freedom here in the United States. So I've never been to Cuba myself, but I grew up in a home where I was exposed to all of the traditions of my parents' heritage. I always spoke to my mother in Spanish my entire life up until she passed just a couple of years ago. I always spoke to my dad in English, so it was kind of a funny dynamic that we had. So I'm very fluent in both. And we listened to their music. We danced, to their music. I ate Cuban food. So in my home, I was, I guess it was very different inside of my home than outside of my home, I guess is the way that I would explain it. And it was sometimes a little hard to reconcile because it was very Cuban inside. But then when you go outside, the American culture was different. So, but I had both, and I'm so grateful for that.